here it is. I one time read something, and I feel like it was a Tumblr post or something, that they were talking about specifically dealing with depression and motivation when dealing with depression. And the 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 phrase that they said, what it ultimately came down to, is they said, if something's worth doing, it's worth half-assing. And let me explain it a little bit. They specifically were talking about getting the motivation to do like the simple everyday maintenance tasks. The example they gave was brushing their teeth. They would be like, well, I know I'm supposed to sit there and brush my teeth for 2 minutes, and that's just a lot of time. I don't want to sit there for 2 minutes and brush my teeth. And so what their therapist said in response to that is, well, if it's worth doing, it's worth half-assing. But if you can't find the motivation, if you don't want to sit there for the full 2 minutes and brush your teeth, then sit there for a minute, sit there for 30 seconds. Heck, even just doing mouthwash is better than not brushing your teeth. And so, along that kind of logic, making bad videos is better than not making videos at all. I'd love to make content that people find interesting or entertaining, or ultimately I would love this to be, a job that I can do. Obviously, I'm not expecting that right off the bat to have a million views and be the next big YouTube sensation. Obviously, that's not going to happen. I mean, look at my setup. So, I'm obviously not expecting to make it big overnight, but I see the work that a lot of content creators are doing, and I think that is cool stuff, and I feel like it's something I can do. We'll see. I think that some of those skills I still need to develop. Obviously, I'm not the most charismatic or amazing, impressive, fantastic, entertaining, whatever person in the whole world, but I think that I have some of the base skills that are necessary, and I think that the other skills are skills that I can develop and learn as I continue to do this. So, to get back to the original point, I'm going to make bad YouTube videos. Because for a long time, what was stopping me in making YouTube videos is I was like, well, I would need a better camera. I would need a better microphone. I would need a better this, that, and the other thing. I need to get better at my editing skills. And here's the thing, those are all things I can learn on the job, so to speak. And it's hard for me to learn those when there's not a practical motivation behind that. I mean, I do like to learn for the sake of learning a lot of times. There are some subjects I like to study just because I find them interesting. But the thing is, I find editing boring. And I find writing the scripts to be really hard and tedious sometimes because I start freaking out over the tiniest little details. And then I write and rewrite and rewrite. And I end up spending 5 hours on a script that by the end of it, I'm like, this is actual garbage. I'm not gonna record this. So, I perfectionism, I think, really is what it is stopping me from even starting, because I want to start with a product that's really good. And I look back at a lot of YouTubers and a lot of famous YouTubers and some of the like early people that, obviously the modern landscape of YouTube is a lot different than when I was like in middle school. And the people that are getting famous now are a lot different than the people that were getting famous then. But if you look back at any of those famous people, they have crappy videos at the beginning, you know? And I mean, not all of them. Some of them jump in with a lot of money to have high production value and producers and editors and this, that, and the other thing. And obviously, I don't have any of that. I have some mediocre gear and a few ideas in my head, and that's about it. But, ultimately, I want to be making content, and so that's what I'm going to shoot for. I think that the first step to actually being good at something and being a good YouTuber is to first be a YouTuber and work on developing those skills that I don't have and learning how to edit better. And I think that's part of the reason that I don't like editing very much, is because I'm not very good at it. And so I don't feel very good about the final product. I'm usually like, this is fine. but it's not something that I'm proud of. It's not something that I'm confident in, you know? And so I think that developing those skills is going to help me not only produce better content, but feel better about the quality of my content. So, all of this to say, I'm going to make bad YouTube videos because I do want to be on YouTube and I want to make good YouTube videos. And the first step to that is making bad YouTube videos. All of those things are reasons for me to not make videos. I can't write good scripts, I can't hold my attention, I can't write something that I feel like is good enough. And ultimately, I know if I sat down, I could write those scripts better, but I overthink it. And I think having more videos out there in the first place will help me get a better sense of what people like and what people don't. So that way I'll stop overthinking the scripts and be able to just say, okay, people like it when I do this thing or say stuff like this, whatever. So I can stop second guessing myself all the way through the whole process. You know, so I'm doing this unscripted. And, you know, I guess this is just vlog style stuff. I don't know if people still make vlogs anymore. I know it was popular like 15 years ago. So, you know what? Maybe I'm just kind of coming off as an out of touch millennial, making content in an out of date format. And, you know, maybe that's really what this is. But again, I think that's fine. Because the goal here is for me to make videos and practice those skills and learn those things so that way I can make good videos down the road. You know, so I'm going at it with no script. I'm going at it with not the best equipment, because that's the other thing is when I'm like, oh, I want to have all this high quality equipment, I want to have a nice green screen. It's hard for me to justify buying a new microphone when I'm not actively using a microphone. And it's hard for me to justify buying a new, better camera when I'm not really using the camera I have right now for anything. You know, because it's one thing to tell myself, oh, I'll make videos if I had better hardware. But what do I need the better hardware for if I'm not making videos? Here it is. The main point of this video is I want to make YouTube videos. And that means that I have to accept the fact that for the first couple of months, my YouTube videos are probably going to be really bad. Maybe not really, really bad, but certainly not to the standard of quality of some of the videos that I watch. I feel like it's definitely a little bit weird to like be in my 30s trying to like break into the YouTube scene. But there's other content creators that I love that are like hugely successful. Um that are people that are like in their 30s and 40s. And honestly, I feel like when YouTube first came out, you know, when I was like in middle school, it very much was for the kids, you know, so to speak. And most of the content on YouTube was just silly kids content. But the scene on YouTube is so different now that I feel like if I approach it as something that I'm passionate about and I approach it, you know, with the mindset of this is something I want to get better at and produce the highest quality that I can, you know, I think I can get there. And I think that the main thing is, like I was saying earlier, just focusing on making content and learning how to edit better, learning how to make better thumbnails, learning how to do all of the things that surround making good YouTube content. I want to learn how to actually edit better. I mean, I'm probably not going to have an actual like intro page or anything. I think that's the end of the video. I've been sitting here staring at a camera talking for too long. Too long. And it's already going to be a pain in the butt to edit all of this because I know I tend to repeat myself sometimes. And yeah, I guess that's it. That's that's the video. This is bye. Go away. Go watch something else.